Step into the light where the wild ones roam, where the heart speaks loud, calling this place home. We break the rules, we paint the sky, ridiculously you. We were born to fly. Ooh, it's ridiculously you.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Ridiculously You podcast, where we help you know, like, and trust even the ridiculous parts of yourself. And that's our goal here, is to help you love even the ridiculous parts of yourself. And today we have on Katrina Sawa, who is from Jumpstart Your Biz. She's going to just get in and have fun conversations with us. She is like a business genius, but I'm going to have her help introduce herself a little bit more on that. But we're going to get into more than just business stuff here today. So, Katrina, can you share with everyone a little bit more about who you are and what you do? I know you do a lot more with books and things too, helping people get published there. So, tell us
Yep.
more.
Do all the things with all the books. And I've done it for years. Like 25 years I've been working with small businesses. And the older I get, the more fun I want to have. As money follows fun, but money also follows speed. So like I'm just in it to keep recreating it and keep redesigning the business around the kind of life I want. And so I look for people who want that as well. So I think your people probably want to have more fun. They want to be themselves. And sometimes we just have to learn how to tweak with the punches. And so, yeah, I just
So
love.
you talk about wanting to have more fun. Was there a time in your business in your life where you're like, this is not fun anymore. This is just
Yeah.
work, work, work.
Are you kidding me? I'm in my 50s, so my work ethic is like, let's work until it's all done, and like I'm gonna over deliver, and I'm gonna work overtime, and all my jobs and all the things. I would take on extra shifts, or like I said, work overtime. So yeah, the first few years were exhausting because I was trying to do all the things. And I was single actually a couple of years into being an entrepreneur. And so what else did I have to do but work or hang out with my dog and watch TV? I mean, like, so I worked and worked and worked and worked and worked myself to death in the first 5, 6 years until I figured out, oh, you don't need to do that. You can do it differently.
I think anyone out there who's been an entrepreneur can relate to that. I think that's a lot of how the first parts of our journey goes. We get in and we're like exciting, and then we're like, okay, but additionally, this is how you earn the money, and this is like the only thing I'm relying on. And especially if you're a single person, it's like, and you work and work and work and work. What do you think the stories you got told about work were before you got into entrepreneurship? Like, what were your childhood stories about work?
Yeah, Um, my parents were divorced, and so I never saw my dad really. He was traveling all over, working at different places, and so I hardly ever saw him. So I don't know if subconsciously that told me that, work was more important than me or not, but I did feel a little left out of his life for sure. My mom made it work, I guess, but I think I don't like, I don't know, I have blocks. Like, who knows? I'm in my 50s. We forget shit. But, I don't remember having a lot of time with her to really do a bunch of fun stuff. I didn't have a lot of fun. And I got teased a lot when I was in grade school and things like that because I matured quickly and I didn't know what to do with him. So, you know,
Yeah,
yeah,
so you matured quickly. I can totally relate to this because I matured
yeah,
super earlier than
yeah,
everyone else. And
yeah,
it was like a thing I totally got teased for,
yeah.
like in elementary school, like places you would not think. And I think kids kind of mature earlier now, but like back when we were younger, we're kind of
There
same
weren't that
generations here.
many.
It didn't happen as much that early. And it was
Oh,
like I was the only one maturing in like fourth
oops.
grade.
I know. I used to wear these big, huge shirts to try to cover it up so nobody knew. And of course, in my senior year and the last couple of years of high school, it was amazing, because
Yeah.
I
By
felt
then
really
you're
cool,
like, haha, everyone fooled you.
right? Uh, yeah. I mean, we all have stuff going on for us, but as far as work goes, no, I just I did. I overdid it. I was overachiever. I was in clubs. I was a captain of my dance squad. Was in the all the advanced classes, and that's how I grew up. So that's kind of how I took it into business. And I'm just now 23 years into my business, starting to settle down and do less.
Wow. So like at what point of your like working and working and working and working did you stop and go, I want to have some fun. Could we pause just a moment because I'm not having fun. Like,
Yeah. Well, partly when I met my current husband, and that was about 13 years ago. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary. And that is when I knew when I was single that what was missing in my life was love because I
mm,
would always say I like have a hole in my heart, and business is only money, and business is only part fulfilling if you don't have that love in your life. So when I got love in my life and had love and I had great money coming in, it was like, oh, the holy grail, right?
yeah.
And so that's when I started talking a lot more about getting more love in your life and money in your business because it all has to flow together and all the things.
Yeah.
And that was really when I was like, oh no, I want to spend more time now. I want to do date nights. I want to do fun weekend getaways. And I don't want to work that hard. I don't want to travel all that much. And then I have a stepdaughter. And so when she started getting older, we were kind of close when she was young. She's 16 now, but when she was getting a little older, she would say, like, well, you're always gone, you're never here. And I'm like, oh, that's a horrible goose stab,
Mm,
So that's when I changed a lot of my travel and how I really was doing the marketing and the business stuff. Mm,
mm.
yeah.
So what's fun to you now? Like, what do you do for fun?
It's not that, I mean, I want to travel more. We still have custody, like 50% for 2 more years. So we don't go a lot of huge places. We do go to Mexico here and there, and vacations and stuff.
So travel, you like
Yeah,
travel.
I
Yeah.
love travel. I can't wait to do a bigger vacation after we, don't have the custody thing. I love to do retreats with work to me is fun. So like anytime I can get together with a group of women or a group of entrepreneurs and we can talk business or life or whatever, that to me is fun. And in fact, a year and a half ago, I started a chapter of a women's organization here locally because I wanted more women connection and I wanted to be able to do like fun ladies nights out and all kinds of stuff. And so we're doing day on the lakes and we're doing game nights and some are with the couples and some are not. Um, I just, yeah, I just want more people around me. I love people around me. I love to
Mm.
just do parties and barbecues and wine tasting and that kind of thing. I'm pretty much a homebody, so it's kind of boring, but to me, it's very fulfilling.
So what do you do on an average weekend? Your average weekend comes up. You may or may not have the kiddo that weekend. What are you doing on a fun weekend?
Okay. It's again, I'm kind of boring. So we watch the dog. We do, I might do an email out to a list. We might go wine tasting or out to dinner or something, or we might binge something on Netflix and just stay in. And so like, unless I can get some friends together because everybody's just so busy, right? And so
Yeah.
even when we had got into a new house and we had a housewarming, we had to have two housewarmings just so all our friends could come. And even then, a lot of our friends still didn't come. We had 2 dates for them. You have 2 days to choose from to come celebrate us. No, they're not coming.
Well, you talk about it being boring though, but like my favorite thing, I was on a client call earlier today, actually, and he was like, how do you get so much done? Because I'm very, very productive in a day. I'm like, I get
Yeah,
so much done in a day. And he's like, how do you get so much done? And I'm like, I think it's because here's the secret to me is my favorite thing is doing nothing. So if I can do the things I need to do more quickly
yes,
and more
yes,
efficiently, then I have
that's
more
it.
time to do nothing. And like I
Yeah.
think in this society, like we shame this idea. It's boring, it's not as exciting. It doesn't look like these travels all over the world of this, sitting home and like spending time with, I have a boyfriend right now. I'm like, we'll
Yeah.
just sit home and just like eat whatever I made for dinner that night because I like cooking. So I'll
Yeah.
probably just cook something up. We'll throw on, one of our we'll throw on Schitt's Creek. We kind of like that right now.
Yep.
And we'll just kind of hang with each other and play with the dogs and laugh. And like
Yes.
to us, that's a great evening. But I see there's
That is
nothing wrong
exactly
with
what we do.
that. Yeah.
We too bad we're not more local because that's what we do. Like,
Yeah, this is what we do, and it's one of our favorite things to do.
and
We
I'm
also
really
like to
good
go
cook.
out sometimes, but
Yeah.
like literally 9 times out of 10, we're probably doing that.
Yeah, I do like to, I'm super efficient and productive too. So I want to get my work done. And lately, I've had more free time in my calendar, and I'm like, I'm starting to feel guilty. And I'm like, wait a minute, why am I feeling guilty for building this business where I have more free time in my calendar? This is what I fucking wanted. And excuse my language, hopefully I can cuss on this one. But like,
Speak freely. You're fine.
but I'm like, I gotta constantly, almost daily, remind myself, don't feel guilty. This is what you wanted, and this is what you built, and this is da da da, and it's all gonna be work itself out, and just take care of you,
Yeah.
right?
I'm curious to know your opinion on this because you were talking about being like very hustly and like working really hard and then kind of getting into different energy and stuff. I'm curious to know like your thoughts on like feminine energy and flow and things like that and how they roll with your business.
So I've been very called fire hose, very direct. People say I have, but it's funny because like the real spiritual people call me, say I have masculine energy, but then a lot of my regular clients who maybe aren't that spiritual definitely think I'm more feminine. And I'm like, I don't know what I am. And like, but all I know is when I was dating and I was doing the online dating, I like when I first started it, I had my little checklist. These are the things I want. I want this, da, 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 da,
Yes.
and these are the questions
Yes.
I'm going to ask this guy. And whether I brought the list out or I was just memorizing it or peeking in my purse with the cliff notes and then asking the questions, I was like an interview. And I had many guys that I think were turned off by me just grilling them, right? So
Yeah.
I have very masculine energy in that regard. So I developed this mantra when I would go into a date. I would sit in the car and I'm like, okay, I gotta remember, I'm fabulous and feminine, and oh god, there was four F's. There was like fabulous, feminine, fun, and flirty, or something like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Because I had to tone down and I would just try to be instead of control the situation.
Mm.
So, yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but like I'm, I think I'm feminine. I wear dresses, but then I'm super assertive, and that's more masculine, right? So, I don't know.
It's one
I
of
don't
those
teach this
things
stuff
that I
clearly.
don't. This is like gospel according to Julie anyway. That's how I say it. So I'm like, there's all these people out there that are like, you have to be in feminine energy, and it looks like this checklist. It's like they have their checklist of it looks like this, and
Yeah,
this. And so I'm like, I'm gonna bring it up because you talked about romance and fun and bringing like having the
yeah,
energy around it, and I'm like, I'm so curious your take on this because I have such a different take than these
yeah,
people that are like, okay, to be in feminine energy, which is the only way to be, you have to have this checklist that goes, da, 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 and if you don't do it exactly like this, then you will not have money. And I'm like,
but isn't
but I
that
don't fit in your
masculine in itself?
box. That's exactly it. So you're going to give me a very masculine energy way of looking at my judgment whether I'm in feminine energy or not. Cool, cool, but additionally, no thank you. No thank you.
I I try to bring love into any scenario. So I surround myself with love and hearts. I mean, the whole wall over here is red with hearts and love and pictures and frames and stuff. And but it's crazy because I had a graphic designer that was gonna do redo my website branding, and she was gonna do it to this archetype thing. So I took this quiz and it put me into this little box of an archetype that was called the ruler. And
Uh-huh.
I was like, I don't really identify with the ruler. I bring in love. I have hearts everywhere. I wear hearts, for God's sakes, everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I'm the ruler. Yes, I have a direct approach to what you need to do and stop wasting time and stop it with the negative energy. but I do it all with love. And so she would not create something that I felt was more appropriate. And it was her way or the highway. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
bye-bye.
This is my take is I don't think we're like just one thing. I think I like to think of it more in yin yang energy. And I say each of us has our own like little fingerprint of a balance of yin yang energy that's perfect for us. And when we like
Yeah.
get to know us and be our full selves and just do the things that are intuitive to us, then we're going to show up in the right balance of energy that is
Yeah.
us.
100%.
And some of us are going to be more yang forward and some of us are going to be more yin forward. And guess what? It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because my thing's going to be different than your thing's going to be different than somebody else's. And so I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. I was like, I wonder if what your thoughts are on that because I hear a lot of people in the space right now being very
Yeah.
strong with, masculine energy needs to look like this, feminine energy needs to look like this. Here's the check boxes to see if you're doing it correctly. And I'm like,
Uh,
or
in my world, it's more about the being versus the doing, which is very similar,
exactly.
but I say it in that way because for the longest time, up until I can tell you exactly when, it was 2008, I had this
Mm,
mentor who was a guy who was going to show me how to get to six figures because I was nearing there, like 80 something, and I couldn't get to six figures. And he was like, I'm going to show you how to make more money. Okay, $25,000, let's go.
yep.
Right. And it was this crazy experience because I was all about, okay, what do I need to do? I'd go to the mastermind meetings and there's like 15 of them, including him. I'm like, what do I need to do? This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm selling. This is who it's for. This is where I'm at. This is how I'm marketing. This is what my website looks like. Now, just tell me what to do in order to get to six figures. And they'd be like, Katrina, just be love, Katrina. And I'm like, what the fuck? How do I be love? I don't know. Like, what does that mean?
It's
And
exactly it. Can you translate that to doer energy?
it literally took me a year to get this into my brain because I was so stubborn and so like confused and nobody really explained it. They just said, just be, Katrina, just be love. And that's where the love stuff started coming in. And
Mm.
I'm like, huh. And so I go to the events, there's 300 people in the room, and okay, I'll be love. I'll just walk in and see what's going, and I would attract the perfect people, and I would just be, and I would just
Oh,
ask questions, and I wouldn't try to push it or talk to about myself. I would listen to them. And it was crazy at the end of the year. I found who I thought was going to be the love of my life and didn't end up being. So I found love at the end of the year and I got to over $100,000 in my business. So I got love and money at the end of the year. It was crazy. I'm like, so now I'm like the being energy. So, but there's a certain balance, like you said,
yeah.
because I need less being energy sometimes than more doing. There's so many people out there that are just being all the time, which is great.
Yeah.
They're not making money because they're not doing anything,
It's
right?
exactly it.
So,
It requires both. Like if you think of
yes.
creation, like if you're going to create new life, which a business or money or whatever is,
Yeah.
it requires masculine, feminine energy. It requires both. It requires
Yeah.
yin yang. It requires both. And so like anytime you're like, I think swung too far either side and just completely knocking out, like you're
Yep.
completely, I'm just gonna be like
Oh, here comes the
boom,
science. I'm gonna manifest it all and just sit
manifest
there.
it. And then they're like 6 months later going, why didn't that work? And I'm like, because then
I
you have to like take the intuitive action. And then like, there's all these other pieces that go in along with that. So if you could like give our audience a quick snapshot of what you think it means to be and do, what does that look like for you?
know. There is no quick snapshot because it's different for everybody. I'm very much not a custom cookie cutter type of a coach. Like, I want to get to know somebody and their deep, darkest secrets and goals, and then I show them what to do. So the difference there is, I don't know. There's no answer for that, right? Because but there will be people out there on the internet selling the freaking answer, which is what's
Right.
so annoying. They'll be like, well, you need 40% of being and 60% of doing, and I have the formula, so you need to buy it for $997. And I'm like, stop listening to people like that, people. That's what I want to say about that.
Yeah, stop listening to the person who thinks they know the exact formula for your energy and
without
your
getting to know you.
yeah, without if they don't know the thing. Yeah, I love that. What do you wish you would have known when you started business?
Everything.
If you could know one more thing, like something you know now, what would
Oh,
be the one
God.
thing you think would be the most impactful?
Well, I think I probably knew it, but I was too stubborn to do it, which was listen to the people that I was paying. I would hire people like the coaches, 12,000, 20. No, oh, thanks for, they want to pigeonhole me into this niche. And I'm like, nah, it doesn't really feel right. I think I'm just going to keep doing this over here. And like, but I paid them to show me. Like, I'd probably be a millionaire if I listened to all the coaches that I hired and didn't like argue with.
Mm. Do you have any regrets in business? Do you ever look back and go, did not love that?
It's hard. I know it's all learning, right? Everything is learning. I don't know if it's a regret, but I wonder what would have happened
I
had I
wonder
gone
what
that
would have
route
happened
instead of
if you
this
did
route.
what?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Pick one thing. Pick one thing where you're like, I wonder what would have happened if I would have
well,
chosen a different path.
listen to the very first coach I had. And it was Allie Brown. So some of your people might know who she was. A long time ago, she was known as the Easing Queen,
Hmm.
right? This was in 2005 and 6. And she told me, because I had a really good follow-up system, I would follow up like crazy. And she said, you need to be the follow-up queen. And she was adamant about it. And I'm like, but that's just one piece of everything someone needs to do. And it was just hard for me. Had I done that, I probably would have been promoted by her more. I would have been promoted by the next couple mentors I had because it didn't conflict with those things that they were doing. And
Mm.
back then, people had more scarcity. They'd like, if anybody, even your client, did similar to what you did, they were scared of promoting you, I think, at the time. And still, if I mean, I'll promote my clients even if they do what I do, marketing consultants, business coaches, it doesn't matter. If that's part of what I promised, I'll still do it anyways. So that's kind of a sort of a regret.
Yeah. It is. It's interesting to go back though, because it's like you said, I like to look at things as like a learning experience, and it's like, oh, that's part of how I figured out more of who I am and whatever. But there are, it's very, very few things that I go, I wonder what would happen if I had chosen a different path. And I don't even know. I don't even know if it's like a healthy thing to go back and have too many regrets because I love my life now and I love what has transpired
Yeah.
and all the people and experiences that have led me to where I am. But additionally, I'm like, there's like this part of me that goes, yeah, but a little self-reflection helps me know, okay, next time a situation like that comes up, how do I want to act and be in that situation? I guess that's the thing for me. And so if you look at that and you go, okay, so back then I wish I would have done this. How does that change how you want to act and be now?
Well, you'd think it would change to where I would just do whatever the coach said, but it hasn't. And now that you're saying that, really honestly, I look at the people that I've hired and um, they didn't really get to know all of me, right?
Mm,
And so lately I've been really preaching this that there's so many people that are just trying to make a buck or they just want to get you in their program and they're teaching the same thing to everybody. And they
yeah.
don't take the time to get to know each particular person because they want hundreds of people. They don't want to take anyways. I'm looking at the people that I hired, and they didn't really know. They didn't know about my love life. They didn't know that I had a hole in my heart when I was single. They didn't know that it was hard for me because I was trying to do online dating because I wanted to find love and I was trying to grow the business. They didn't know if and when my dad died and I had to go to a conference the day after I found out instead of going to figure out, so
Yeah.
the people that you hire, I think well, there's not a lot of us that actually pay attention to everything that's going on before we advise you. So when I look back at that, I'm thinking, well, they didn't know the whole picture and they advised me this way, so it's okay. I should be fine because they didn't know the whole picture. And that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I made sense. But
So if some of our listeners right now are thinking, oh, I want to hire a coach, I think many of them are thinking along that well. Like we get a lot of people in personal development and people in business, and they're like in that land of hiring coaches. What kind of advice would you give them so that they could do both this like listening to their intuition and staying true to themselves, but actually, getting the money out of the coach, like that reward system where they're like, oh, I get to actually follow the things. I feel like they understand me, and we're like working together with our intuition. How do they go about that?
oh, well, I think you need to interview them just like they might be interviewing you and ask really personal, deep questions like, how much do you care? How much time are you going to give me? What do you really want to know about me? Like, do you take it into account all the things that I'm juggling or whatever? Because some people have jobs, some people have businesses, whatever. But yet they find out you're doing a business and they just want to tell you this. And whether it's a personal development or business development, I think you have to be more intuitive with really being able to tell if that person has your best interests at heart or if they're just there to get you into their program. And with that, um, like one-on-one is way more effective. I don't care what it is they're teaching or doing with you. One-on-one is going to be way more effective. Please don't undervalue what you need and go into a group or a DIY because it's cheaper. You're not going to get the same experience or result.
Yeah. I would agree with that wholeheartedly with all the coaches I've hired and all the coaching that I've done over the years. There's only so much personalization you can do. I mean, we try in our groups. There's, a certain level
Yeah,
you can do and
I
and things,
know.
but like there's only so far you can do to do that in group forum, that one-on-one. I think when
Well,
you
that's
have
why
the
you have
right connection and the right
groups.
coach, it's hard to beat that collaborative effort.
But there's little things you could do. Like the coach
Yeah.
can have everybody do a video and then they could watch the 2 minute video or whatever. They could, listen to voice clips. They could answer questions. And it doesn't take a lot of time to pay a little bit more attention to your people. It really doesn't. But, some of my coaches would tell me, like, oh, just get them in and then do the 2 calls and then be hands off. And I'm like, yeah.
You're like, or hear me out. I'm not going to do that.
Or I'll do it my way. I could have saved $250,000 if I just did it my way the whole way. No, I learned a lot from everybody and I'm glad I did everything. It made me who I am today. So you have to be
Yeah.
grateful for it all.
What do you think the biggest thing you learned from your coaches was? If you could like snapshot it all down to like one thing, what do you
Build
think
the
the
plane
biggest?
while you're flying it.
Yeah, build the plane while you're flying it.
Yeah, just do it. People overthink anything they're creating. And they go off and create it over here and then go, okay, here it's ready. Do you guys want to buy it? And they might have 2 people who buy it, right? Instead of doing
Hmm.
it with people to create the right thing. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely true. I think I see a lot in business world at any rate, like people going out and they'll develop a program for like 2 years. And
or a book,
A, they
right?
haven't done the research, and B, it's just like they haven't played with their people and connected with them enough to know if this is a solution like that's delivered in the way they want, that is the solution they want, that is like even the problem they want to solve. And then it's like 2 years of, $100,000 down, and then they're like, oh, that didn't work. Let's try it again. When, there's such a better way to get in and develop it with the people. Like 100% people get way too much into that overthinking. It's like overthinking and procrastination. I think there's a form of self-sabotage going in there, frankly, that happens.
Yes.
But
Yeah, it is for sure because they're scared or they don't, or they doubt themselves or all of the above, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
So can I ask you a couple of personal questions before we
Yeah.
get to the end? Okay. What do you think was your like lowest point in life and what got you there?
Mm. Well, I remember sitting on my office floor, like with all my bills spread out around me. and knowing that I couldn't pay them all, and which ones do I pay and which ones do I avoid? Like, right? Um, and that was, when was that? That was somewhere during the 2 year period with the guy I thought I was going to be with. And it freaked
Mm.
him out. He was a sheriff. He was not an entrepreneur. And so that freaked him out. So that kind of snowballed into us breaking up, I think, because he was scared of what the hell I was doing. Even though I always trusted, I knew that it would all work out in the end, and it did, right? It's just that was my fear around enough money and all the things. But yet I never did go to my plan B. I never had a plan B. So it was always like, do or die, this business. I'll just keep changing it until it works, or until, even if it does work, I'll keep changing it to evolve with me. I never had a plan B, and I think that's a big mistake to have when you're an entrepreneur, because you got one foot over there just in case. So,
So, what do you think got you out of that? Like you're sitting on the floor, you have all the bills, significant others kind of freaking out a little bit. How did you get from there to where you are now? Because now you've got like the successful business, love of your life, like things are going pretty damn well.
yeah. Yeah. Well, it did get a little worse after that. I think it went into bankruptcy after that. I'm trying to remember. Yes. So that was the lowest point, right? But it was right after I had some like health problems and challenges. And so the medical bills and
Oh
lack of
yeah.
income because you're recovering. So it just all snowballed. And that took a good 3 years, I think, to get through. What overcame is just having faith that it would all work out, and that I was ashamed of bankruptcy back then, and I'm not anymore. It's just part of my story. And, it helped me at a time when I needed the help to get to the next stage, right? The next level.
Did it require you to pivot how you do business at all? Or like,
Um,
was it like same things, just different like marketing methods? Like, what helped you be successful, like more financially through that period?
I think, well, I know I just hustled more, I just did the what came natural for me, which was hustling more, um, and just keeping things consistent. I was holding events 2 or 3 times a year, and I just kept holding events and kept holding the faith that it would all work out, and it did. And the next event brought more clients. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's a lot of people will stop and freeze and shut everything down and cancel things and just when something is bad. But and let go of that relationship. Well, he let go of it, which broke my heart at the time. I was 40 and I was like devastated. And so um yeah, I had to surround myself with people who would love me and pick me up and, cheer me on. And so,
If you could go back to the Katrina at that time who had just filed bankruptcy and it feels kind of mortifying, and tell her something, what would you tell her?
you know, nobody cares. Nobody cares. I say that about your logo, your name of your business, and some things that happen to us, because the right ones will not care, and they'll love you anyways, and they'll work with you anyways. And it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
That's so true. That's so
Yeah.
true. All right. If you had one more message for our people, what would it be?
Stop overthinking and doubting yourself and just do it. Like, I have my stop it button. Stop
Yeah.
it.
So
Yeah.
is the stop it, stop overthinking?
No, it actually says, stop it, just stop it. You got this. You're amazing.
I
So,
love
yeah,
that.
it's basically to get rid of your head trash. So we've all got it. It sneaks up on us. We got to be able to keep our entrepreneurial energy positive at all times. And if we're in a funk, don't wallow in it. Just say, okay, I'm in a funk. This sucks. Drink a bottle and then go. I'm just kidding. That's what
Hey,
I do.
I think it's okay to recognize, hey, we're in a funk and it sucks for a minute. All right,
I'm
take a
gonna
deep
have some
breath. Let's
wine.
go.
I'm gonna have some wine and some cheese or whatever, like
Oh, for sure,
wine
wine and
cheese,
cheese.
wine,
Yeah,
cheese, and chocolate.
That feels like the solution. Okay, Katrina, where can everyone find you after this? They're looking for some more business help that's a little bit more customized to them, not a one size fits all sort of solution. Where can they find you?
Yeah. I would actually just go to my website, but my events page, because I have a lot of fun stuff coming up. It's jumpstartevents.net,
Mm.
jumpstartevents.net. And you can find all the other pages from there too, like the free stuff and my bio and all that. But I have, weekly coffee connects where you can come for free. I have author calls. I have, a live event a couple times a year. Again, I brought it back, and I have a She Levels Up mentorship. So there's a lot going on. I do a
Where are
lot.
you located out of?
I'm in Northern California.
Northern California.
Yeah.
So if you do live events, are they in that area?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So everyone, there's places to connect
Yeah.
online. There's the coffees. There's all kinds of things to just get on and connect with her. If you're in Northern California, then you're going to get on and see when the in-person stuff is. And you know what? Fly in. That's what I always say about events. I'm like, I love producing events. And so I'm like, you know what? It's worth flying in. Come fly in and say hi,
Yes. Well, and I just love to talk to people. I love to talk to people. So I am not shy. I'm very accessible, and I just love to see how I can make an impact.
Beautiful thing. Well, thank you for sharing you and sharing your story with me, with our people. Thank you for showcasing your ridiculous self and not cutting yourself and shoving into a box anytime you talk about not doing exactly what your coaches told you to do. I'm like, that's because you didn't fit in their daggum box. You
I
went,
know.
yes, but I don't
But
fit
my
in that
clients have to do
box.
what I tell them.
Okay. So that works for you, but not the other way around. Just to be clear.
But I don't
Just
put
to
you
be
in a
clear.
box. I make it.
Thank you so much. It has been so fun. This is the Ridiculously You podcast, where we share with you all the tips, tricks, ideas of how to love even the ridiculous parts of yourself and connect with top business leaders and leaders just in the community in general to hear real live stories of how we have done this, how they have done this. And with that, I'm going to tell you to have a ridiculous day. Bye-bye.
Share the spark, take it higher. Hit subscribe, bring a friend. Let the wildness never end. Tap in, stand true. This is your crew.